I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say.
Hey, it's Jeff with ID10T Garage, back on the 69 Mustang, and we're going to get to work on the rear end. As I mentioned in the previous video, it's time to get the track lock in, the 355 posi unit. So we're going to have to pull the drums, pull the axles, pull the rear chunk, pull the drive line out, well, you know, the drive shaft. So those are the things we're going to work on. We'll see if we can get that all done in one episode or not. I do not know. You never know. You know, these things should go smoothly, but we'll see. Let's get to it. Well, we're back out here working on the Mustang. Would you imagine that? So what I'm about to start working on, as I mentioned in the last clip, was the rear end. I need to put my 350 track lock, I believe is what the original Ford nomenclature is and stuff like that. So I've got to pull the drums off and remove my axles. So there's 4 bolts that hold the plate to the back of the axle, then I need to pull it out. Hopefully I can pull it out without a slide hammer, because I don't remember if I have a slide hammer to do that or not, to be quite honest. But it's been a while since I've done this, so I remember you pull the drums, remove 4 bolts, and then pull your axle out. And then you remove your drive shaft, and you can pull the bolts off of the chunk, or third member, whatever you want to call it, and then you can remove that. And then vice versa, do the same thing. Put the chunk back on, go put your axles back in, replace your seals, and replace the seals and the gasket, so the flange gasket. So that's the general idea of what I'm about to do. And also, one thing to remember, especially with these 8-inch rear ends, is there's usually not a fill hole. So you actually have to fill it through the axle tube. So before you put both axles in, you have to fill the fluid through the axle tube. And for a posi or a track lock or whatever you want to call it, true track, I don't know, you have to do it with the friction additive. So we're about to get to it later. All right, so we've got our drums off. I actually ended up buying a tool. As you can see, I got a drum remover, and the reason I did that apparently is because these drum brakes are shot. So this pulled, like just pulling on it, it pulled everything loose. You see springs everywhere and washers everywhere. So they were just tight tight on there. Even though I could turn the wheel really well, I had no issues, you know, turning the axle, or anything like that. These drums were just stuck on the, these brakes were just stuck on the drum. So when I was pulling it, it was pulling all this bottom section there. So either these weren't adjusted quite properly, or they're just shot to shit. So I'm going to have to get some drum brake kits for these as well. Which, you know, I hate doing drum brakes, but, you know, at the same time, it is what it is. Maybe I need to think about a disc brake conversion, but if I do a disc brake conversion, then I got to mess with my master cylinder, and I'd rather not. So I need to get new drum brake kit for the rear, probably get new drums in general for these 8-inch rears. So, but I also can't figure out what I did with my axle puller. So I thought I had a slide hammer and everything. I mean, I know I got a slide hammer somewhere. I just don't know where it is. So I guess I lost it in the move or whatever. So I had to order another slide hammer so I can remove my axles, because they won't come freely or easily. So, but yep, that's where we are. Got the drums off, the brakes are shot, and now I need to pull the axle. So, all right, later. Hey guys, I'm back out here. We're about to get these axles pulled out. I got my new slide hammer. So we're going to see how far we can get. It's Christmas Eve, so I don't know how much I'm going to get done. A lot going on as always, but have a little bit of time, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get to work. So let's do it. All right, as you saw, we got the axles out now, and now we got to work on the chunk. So I got to remove this drive shaft end, which is just a couple bolts. It's kind of a pain in the ass, and then just remove the chunk. So it's, I think, 12 bolts. It could be more, and then pull that out and, you know, get all the weight. It's a heavy duty thing. So, yeah, about to crawl under there and get to work on that. Let's do it. All right, guys. We finally busted it free. I didn't bust it free in the video, my time lapse, but I came back out here. I was getting frustrated because it would not budge. All the copper washers were gone. I got rid of them all, and I just could not break it free. So I ended up having, kept on trying to wedge screwdrivers. I could not get any movement, so I had to take my air chisel and find a spot, and eventually got the air chisel under it and broke it all free. So I'm guessing it's been on there for a while. We'll let it drip out, come back probably tomorrow or the day after, and actually get this third member out. So that is the stock piece, and oddly enough, it was coated in mud, but we do have the tag, so I need to clean this up and find out what it was. It's a 3, I'm thinking it's like a 273, but I don't remember. But you know, we'll check out the tag once it's done. I've got my nice new one right here, rebuilt from a guy out in Vegas. As you can see, 8-inch 355 posi limited slip. So here's our new rear trunk that'll go in. I've got to get some copper washers as well. So that's another thing. Those copper washers, there's only a couple of them, but I need to get more. So we'll get 10. I believe there's 10 bolts on this, not the 12 I mentioned earlier, but whew, I can't wait to get this in there. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning into this week's episode. As you saw, things did not go smoothly. We had a bunch of problems with everything, really. When I pulled the drums, I ended up having to get a drum puller because it was all stuck. Half the drum brakes came off with them. Some pieces were broken, pads were stuck. The bottom half on the one side came out. Then the axles were in there pretty good, so I had to get the slide hammer. And then the rear chunk was, even after removing the crush washers and all that good stuff, it just did not want to budge. So things were a pain in the ass. We did not get as much done as we wanted. It is sitting here draining still, but for the most part, we've got it ready to put the chunk in, and I've made a decision. Because I'm going to have to replace all the drum parts because they're old and worn out and God knows how long they've been on there, I decided to buy a disc brake conversion for the rear. So in the next episode, we will finish replacing the rear chunk. I've got to get crush washers for that as well, and we'll get the axles back in with a new disc brake conversion. I don't know if you guys have done this before, but you have to pull the axles to do one of these disc brake conversions. That's just the way it goes. So you need new gaskets, new seals, everything to go along with it. You have to clean everything, get a nice flat surface so you're not, you know, causing any leaks. So that's what we'll do next time. In the meantime, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you need to hear anything, and I'll try to put these tools that I used in the comment section or the description of this. So I'll see you next week, guys.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, but